America looked at normal inventions and said, what if we made them weirder? Fact 1. Before the modern supermarket existed, Americans shopped in tiny stores where clerks grabbed everything from shelves while customers waited awkwardly near barrels of pickles. Then, in 1916, a Memphis entrepreneur named Clarence Saunders introduced the self-service grocery store. At first, people hated it. Shoppers genuinely believed touching their own food felt suspiciously close to unpaid labor. Some customers wandered around confused like tourists trapped in a warehouse full of canned beans. But the invention quietly rewired everyday American life. Suddenly, stores needed shopping baskets, bigger aisles, bright signs, and eventually shopping carts. Entire suburban routines were built around wandering giant grocery stores under fluorescent lights while debating cereal brands for 40 minutes. Americans turned grocery shopping into a weekly expedition involving frozen waffles, free samples, and emotional support rotisserie chickens. One strange little retail experiment eventually created the modern supermarket, proving Americans somehow industrialized buying soup. Fact 2. In the 1930s, an engineer named Earl Tupper created plastic food containers so airtight they made opening leftovers feel like competing in a strength contest at a county fair. But the real bizarre invention was not the container itself. It was the Tupperware party. Instead of stores, suburban women hosted living room demonstrations where neighbors gathered around coffee tables to watch someone dramatically burp air out of plastic bowls like it was advanced NASA technology. America turned food storage into performance art. Housewives became salespeople, parties became mini corporations, and suddenly every refrigerator in the country contained towers of pastel containers holding meatloaf nobody planned to eat. The genius was psychological. People trusted neighbors more than advertisements, so Tupperware quietly built one of the strangest sales empires in American history. Decades later, millions of people still own mystery containers without matching lids. Somehow, one plastic bowl transformed kitchens, suburban culture, and passive-aggressive leftover management forever. Fact 3. Few inventions changed American laziness more than the television remote control. Before it arrived, changing channels required physically standing up and walking to the television like some prehistoric cave activity. In the 1950s, Zenith introduced one of the first remotes, and Americans immediately became emotionally attached to controlling electronics from the couch. The earliest remotes were bizarre little gadgets using flashes of light or ultrasonic sound. Some accidentally changed channels whenever keys jingled or dogs barked nearby. But the impact was enormous. Families stopped watching whatever happened to be on television because now they could endlessly flip channels searching for something better. Attention spans shortened overnight. Commercial breaks became battlegrounds. Entire generations mastered the art of holding a remote like a sacred family artifact nobody else could touch. Modern streaming culture basically began with one invention designed to avoid standing up for 7 seconds. Humanity reached the moon, cured diseases, and invented computers. But Americans celebrated the ability to change channels without leaving the recliner. Fact 4. Americans did not just invent frozen dinners. They accidentally reinvented how families spent evenings together. In the 1950s, Swanson found itself drowning in extra Thanksgiving turkey after wildly overestimating demand. Instead of admitting defeat, executives copied the design of airplane meal trays and packed turkey, peas, and mashed potatoes into aluminum compartments people could heat at home. The TV dinner was born almost by accident. Suddenly, millions of Americans stopped eating together at kitchen tables and started balancing metal trays on their laps while watching sitcoms and cowboy shows. Dinner transformed from a family ritual into a television accessory. The invention perfectly matched post-war suburban life where convenience mattered more than conversation. Kids loved it because dessert sat 3 inches from the peas. Parents loved it because nobody had to cook after work. America basically looked at traditional family dinners and said, what if we made this faster and slightly sadder? Fact 5. The modern answering machine feels ancient now, but when Americans first embraced it, the device completely changed social behavior. Before answering machines, missing a phone call simply meant the conversation never happened. Then came the magical little cassette-powered box sitting beside kitchen phones in the 1970s and 80s. Suddenly, people could screen calls like undercover spies hiding behind floral wallpaper. Entire households froze whenever the machine picked up, whispering frantically while listening to messages live. families became amateur detectives analyzing every caller's tone. Teenagers mastered the art of recording fake outgoing greetings to confuse relatives. Some people even timed calls perfectly to avoid actual conversations and leave messages instead. The machine also created a strange new anxiety because now ignored calls left evidence behind. America invented voicemail and immediately used it to dodge neighbors, avoid salesmen, and pretend not to be home while standing 3 feet from the phone eating potato chips. Fact 6. Few inventions captured American paranoia better than the garage door opener. Before automatic openers became common in the 1950s, drivers manually lifted heavy garage doors during rainstorms, snow, or suburban darkness that always looked suspiciously like the opening scene of a detective movie. Then, an inventor named C.G. Johnson created the electric garage door opener, allowing Americans to enter their homes without leaving the car. It sounded simple, but suburban life quietly revolved around it. Entire neighborhoods became giant synchronized performances of humming garage doors every evening at 6 o'clock. The garage slowly replaced the front door as the true entrance to American homes. People could now disappear directly from traffic into their kitchens without speaking to a single neighbor. Honestly, it was the perfect invention for suburban culture. America looked at community interaction and invented a machine specifically designed to avoid awkward small talk while carrying groceries in the rain. Fact 7. The disposable diaper did not just change parenting. It rescued millions of Americans from a weekly nightmare involving safety pins, laundry tubs, and smells powerful enough to end friendships. Before disposable diapers exploded in popularity during the 1960s, parents spent enormous amounts of time washing cloth diapers by hand. Then companies like Pampers arrived promising convenience wrapped in soft plastic optimism. At first, many parents thought disposable diapers seemed wasteful or lazy. Then they experienced sleeping through the night without boiling fabric in the kitchen like exhausted medieval peasants. The invention rapidly transformed childcare, family routines, and even travel, because parents could finally leave the house carrying fewer suspiciously damp bags. Advertising made everything look impossibly cheerful, with smiling babies crawling through spotless suburban homes. Meanwhile, real parents just appreciated not scrubbing diapers at midnight. America basically turned one of humanity's oldest unpleasant chores into a throwaway product and called it progress. Fact 8. The American invention of the credit card completely changed how ordinary people thought about money. And honestly, it also created entire generations convinced future problems belonged to future versions of themselves. In the 1950s, businessman Frank McNamara reportedly forgot his wallet during dinner in New York. Embarrassed, he later helped create the Diners Club card, allowing customers to pay restaurants using credit instead of cash. What started as a convenience for businessmen exploded into a cultural revolution. Suddenly, Americans carried tiny rectangles promising furniture, vacations, televisions, and regrettable impulse purchases without immediate consequences. Shopping transformed from careful budgeting into emotional negotiation with future debt. Stores loved it because customers spent more freely. Consumers loved it because nobody enjoys counting cash in department stores, while Christmas music slowly destroys their sanity. America effectively invented a financial time machine where people could enjoy toaster ovens immediately and emotionally process the bill several weeks later. Fact 9. The microwave oven exists because an American engineer accidentally melted a candy bar in his pocket while working near radar equipment during World War II research. Percy Spencer noticed the strange effect and immediately started experimenting with popcorn kernels and eggs because apparently every great scientific breakthrough eventually leads to snacks exploding indoors. Early microwave ovens were enormous machines costing thousands of dollars and looking powerful enough to contact aliens. But by the 1970s, they became suburban kitchen royalty. Suddenly, leftovers returned from the dead within minutes. Americans embraced the microwave with terrifying enthusiasm, heating everything from coffee to frozen meatloaf while ignoring suspicious chemical smells and instructions clearly written on packaging. Entire food industries emerged around microwavable convenience meals promising dinner faster than a commercial break. The invention permanently destroyed patience in kitchens. Humanity once slow-cooked meals for hours. Then, America invented a machine demanding hot lasagna in 90 seconds or less. Fact 10. The drive-through window may be one of America's most beautifully lazy contributions to civilization. The idea grew from car culture, roadside restaurants, and the national belief that stepping out of a vehicle should be optional whenever fries are involved. By the mid-20th century, restaurants realized Americans did not just want food quickly, they wanted food handed directly through a tiny window like a secret transaction. Suddenly, dinner could happen while children argued in the back seat, and Dad pretended he knew which lane moved faster. Drive-thrus changed banking, pharmacies, coffee, dry cleaning, and eventually almost every errand that could be shoved through glass. It was convenience with cup holders. America took the simple act of buying lunch and engineered it around not unbuckling a seatbelt, which is both ridiculous and deeply patriotic. Fact 11. The barcode looks boring, which is exactly how you know it became powerful. Before those little black stripes conquered retail, cashiers manually typed prices, stores guessed inventory, and grocery checkout moved with the speed of a tired DMV line. Then, in 1974, a pack of Wrigley's gum became the first product scanned with a universal product code in an Ohio supermarket. It sounds tiny, but that beep quietly changed commerce forever. Suddenly, stores could track products, restock faster, reduce pricing mistakes, and move customers through lines without turning every cashier into a human calculator. The barcode became the silent tattoo of modern shopping, slapped onto soup cans, cereal boxes, medicine, books, and everything else capitalism could label. America invented a way for groceries to identify themselves, and somehow the machine still judges you hardest when you buy discount cookies. Fact 12. The Post-it note began as a mistake, which is exactly the kind of origin story America loves. A scientist at 3M created an adhesive that was not strong enough to be useful in the normal way. It stuck, but not permanently. In most workplaces, that would be called failure. At 3M, another employee realized this weak little glue was perfect for bookmarks that would not damage hymnals. From there came the square yellow note that invaded offices, kitchens, refrigerators, textbooks, and every desk owned by someone pretending to be organized. Post-it notes changed everyday life because they made temporary thoughts feel official. Call dentist suddenly looked like corporate strategy. Entire households now communicate through tiny paper squares stuck to coffee makers like emotional ransom notes. America accidentally invented a product for people who need reminders, but absolutely refuse to remember where they put the reminders. Fact 13. The ATM changed banking by attacking one of the oldest enemies in American life: bank hours. For decades, needing cash meant arranging your day around a building that closed exactly when working people finally had time to visit. Then automated teller machines arrived, and suddenly money could be withdrawn from a wall like a financial vending machine. One early American version, the DocuTeller, appeared at Chemical Bank in New York in 1969, promising customers the bank would never really close. That sounded futuristic, slightly suspicious, and extremely convenient. Americans quickly adjusted to trusting machines with their money because, honestly, machines seemed less judgmental than tellers watching you withdraw $20 before payday. The ATM changed errands, travel, nightlife, and emergencies. It also gave humanity a new anxiety: standing alone at night, waiting for cash, while pretending every person nearby is not definitely a criminal. Fact 14. The aerosol spray can make Americans believe almost anything could be improved by shooting it out of a pressurized metal cylinder. The technology became especially important during World War II, when portable insecticide dispensers helped protect troops from mosquitoes. After the war, companies looked at that same delivery system and thought, naturally, what if hair could come out like battlefield equipment? Soon, America had spray deodorant, spray paint, spray cheese, spray cleaners, spray starch, and hairspray powerful enough to survive a convertible ride through a hurricane. The aerosol can change bathrooms, garages, kitchens, and teenage bedrooms. It made products feel instant, dramatic, and slightly dangerous. Press button, problem disappears, or at least becomes evenly coated. Few inventions better capture American optimism than believing a tiny nozzle can fix insects, odor, furniture, graffiti, hair, and party snacks with the same basic gesture. Fact 15. The shopping cart sounds ordinary now, but when it first appeared, customers resisted it like someone had rolled a metal cage into their dignity. In the late 1930s, grocery owner Sylvan Goldman introduced carts to help shoppers buy more without carrying heavy baskets. Men thought pushing one looked feminine. Women thought it resembled a baby carriage and felt insulting. So Goldman reportedly hired people to stroll around stores using carts confidently, basically creating fake shopping influencers before television had fully warmed up. Eventually, customers gave in, and the cart quietly changed American buying habits. Suddenly, people could load up cereal, canned goods, soda, frozen dinners, and enough paper towels to survive a minor siege. Supermarkets grew larger because carts made bigger purchases feel normal. America did not just invent a rolling basket, it invented the weekly grocery haul, complete with one wheel that always screams for help. Fact 16. The electric toothbrush sounds like a luxury invented for people too exhausted to move their own wrists, but it quietly changed bathroom routines. Early versions appeared in America during the mid-20th century, and at first they looked less like hygiene tools and more like medical equipment your dentist forgot to lock away. The promise was simple. Tiny motorized bristles could scrub better than a sleepy human hand at 6 in the morning. Americans loved the idea because it turned brushing teeth into a gadget experience. Suddenly, oral care had charging stands, replacement heads, buzzing timers, and the emotional pressure of being judged by a plastic device. It helped people brush longer and more consistently, which is genuinely useful. Still, only America could take a stick with bristles and say, "Great, but what if it needed batteries?" Fact 17. The smoke detector is one of those inventions people only notice when it screams at burnt toast like the kitchen has declared war. Modern home smoke alarms became common in American houses during the 1970s, thanks to smaller electronics and growing fire safety campaigns. Before that, families mostly relied on smelling smoke, seeing flames, or having a neighbor pound on the door, which is not exactly a premium safety system. The smoke detector changed everyday life by turning ceilings into tiny emergency witnesses. It made nighttime fires far more survivable and pushed home safety into ordinary suburban routine. But it also created a new domestic ritual, standing on a chair, waving a dish towel under a shrieking plastic circle while breakfast quietly dies in the pan. America invented a life-saving device that also hates bacon with religious intensity. Fact 18. The ballpoint pen did not originate only in America, but Americans helped turn it into an everyday object so common nobody respects it anymore. Before ballpoints took over, writing meant fountain pens, ink bottles, blotting paper, leaks, stains, and the constant risk of looking like you fought a squid. After World War II, American companies pushed ballpoint pens into offices, schools, banks, diners, and junk drawers everywhere. Suddenly, writing became cheap, portable, and mostly clean. People could sign checks, fill out forms, write grocery lists, and leave passive-aggressive notes without refilling anything. The pen became so disposable that businesses started giving them away with logos, which is capitalism's way of saying, "Please remember our insurance agency while doodling during church." America did not just popularize a writing tool, it made ink so casual people now lose 5 pens before lunch. Fact 19. The zipper changed clothing by eliminating the tiny daily battle against buttons, hooks, and patience. The modern zipper was developed in the United States, with Gideon Sunback creating a reliable, separable fastener in the early 20th century. At first, people were not impressed. Fashion moved slowly, and nobody was eager to trust their dignity to a row of metal teeth. But the invention found success in boots, tobacco pouches, military gear, jackets, luggage, and eventually trousers, where it became both useful and occasionally dangerous. The zipper made getting dressed faster, bags easier to close, and travel less likely to end with socks escaping across a train platform. It is a simple invention, but it changed millions of routines. America gave the world a mechanical mouth for clothing, then spent the next century warning men to be careful with it. Fact 20. The electric blanket is one of America's strangest comfort inventions because it basically asks people to trust wiring while unconscious. Early versions appeared in the early 20th century, and by the post-war years, improved models became popular in chilly bedrooms across the country. Before central heating became reliable everywhere, sleeping in winter often meant piling on heavy blankets until rolling over required a construction permit. The electric blanket promised personal warmth at the flip of a switch. It changed bedtime for elderly Americans, cold farmhouses, drafty apartments, and anyone married to someone who sleeps like a furnace. Of course, the idea still feels faintly ridiculous. "Good night, darling, I'm plugging myself in." But it worked. America took the oldest human desire, staying warm, and solved it with a blanket that needed an instruction manual and serious trust in the wall outlet. Fact 21. The Lazy Susan may have an uncertain origin, but Americans absolutely helped make it a dining room classic, especially in restaurants and mid-century kitchens. It is such a simple idea. Put food on a rotating tray so nobody has to reach across the table like a raccoon stealing biscuits. Yet it changed how families shared meals, condiments, spices, and holiday side dishes. Suddenly, the pickles could travel, the butter could make rounds, the cranberry sauce could complete a slow ceremonial orbit while Uncle Bob told the same fishing story again. In Chinese-American restaurants, large rotating tabletops became especially practical for shared dishes, turning dinner into a polite carousel of hunger. The invention feels almost too modest to matter, but it solved a real social problem. Humans are lazy, arms are short, and nobody wants gravy passed over their lap. Fact 22. Bubble wrap began as a failed wallpaper idea, which is one of the most beautiful business accidents in American history. In the late 1950s, two inventors sealed plastic sheets together with trapped air bubbles, hoping people would decorate walls with futuristic padded texture. Shockingly, America did not want living rooms that looked like the inside of a mailing envelope, but the material found a better destiny as protective packaging. Suddenly, fragile objects could survive shipping, factories could pack electronics safely, and customers received boxes containing the world's most satisfying bonus toy. Bubble wrap changed commerce by making long-distance delivery less terrifying for glass, gadgets, and sentimental gifts from relatives who overestimate their packing skills. Its secret impact is psychological. People do not just use bubble wrap, they attack it. America accidentally invented protective packaging that doubles as therapy for stressed adults. Fact 23. The revolving door is one of those inventions that feels elegant until you get trapped behind someone moving at the speed of a museum tour. It was patented in the late 1800s by Theophilus Van Kannel, and its purpose was not just looking fancy in hotels. Revolving doors helped control drafts, reduce street noise, and keep heated or cooled air from rushing out every time someone entered a building. In big American cities, that mattered. Office lobbies, department stores, banks, and train stations suddenly had a door that behaved like a polite mechanical traffic circle. Of course, it also created a new social panic, choosing the exact right moment to enter without becoming part of the architecture. America improved climate control and invented a tiny rotating test of confidence at the same time. Fact 24. The drinking straw seems harmless now, but the modern paper straw began because one American got tired of drinking mint juleps through natural ryegrass that turned mushy and tasted like a lawn. In the 1880s, Marvin Stone wrapped paper around a pencil, glued it, and created a cleaner, sturdier straw. That tiny invention quietly changed soda fountains, diners, milkshakes, hospital care, fast food, and every child's relationship with chocolate milk. Before long, the straw became a symbol of American convenience. Cheap, disposable, and absolutely everywhere. It helped sell fountain drinks as cleaner and more modern, because apparently nothing says progress like not touching your lips to a public glass. America took the act of sipping and industrialized it, then spent the next century arguing over whether the straw should survive the drink. Fact 25. The electric blender changed American kitchens by giving households a small countertop tornado with a lid. In the 1920s, Stephen Poplawski developed an early blender for mixing soda fountain drinks, and soon the idea escaped into homes. Suddenly, milkshakes, pancake batter, soups, baby food, and terrifying diet drinks could be pulverized with one switch. The blender arrived at the perfect time for mid-century America, when families wanted appliances that promised modern living without too much thinking. It made kitchens feel futuristic, like a tiny laboratory where bananas went in whole and came out as suspicious beige foam. It also introduced a new sound to breakfast: violent mechanical screaming before coffee. America did not just invent a mixing tool, it invented the confidence to liquefy anything and call it a recipe. Fact 26. The automatic dishwasher is basically America's formal declaration of war against the after-dinner sink. Josephine Cochran, a wealthy Illinois woman, invented an early practical dishwasher in the 1880s because servants kept chipping her fine china. That origin story is wonderfully American. Protect the dishes first, then accidentally help everyone else later. Her machine used water pressure to clean plates held in racks, and over time, dishwashers moved from hotels and restaurants into ordinary homes. By the post-war boom, they became a suburban status symbol, right beside wall ovens and avocado-colored refrigerators. The dishwasher changed family routines because cleaning up no longer required one person to stand at the sink like a punished pioneer. It also created a new household argument: how to load it correctly. America solved dishwashing, then invented dishwasher criticism as a marital art form. Fact 27. The traffic light is one of America's quietest inventions of daily obedience. In 1914, Cleveland installed an early electric traffic signal, and by the 1920s, Garrett Morgan patented an improved signal with a warning position that helped drivers prepare to stop. Before traffic lights, busy intersections relied on police officers, hand signals, eye contact, luck, and the shared fantasy that everyone else was paying attention. As cars multiplied, that system became less charming and more demolition derby. The traffic light turned chaos into color-coded behavior. Red meant stop, green meant go, and yellow meant every American had to make a deeply personal moral decision. It changed commuting, city planning, pedestrian safety, and road rage. America invented a glowing box that bosses millions of drivers around, and somehow, people still argue with it. Fact 28. The escalator changed public buildings by making stairs feel old-fashioned, suspicious, and frankly, a little judgmental. Early escalator designs appeared around the turn of the 20th century, and American department stores quickly realized moving stairs were not just useful, they were theater. Customers rode upward past displays, drifting through merchandise like royalty on a mechanical carpet. Escalators transformed shopping malls, airports, subway stations, hotels, and office buildings. They made vertical movement effortless, which is very on-brand for a country that also put cup holders in everything. But they also created a strange etiquette nobody officially teaches. Stand right, walk left, hold the rail, do not panic at the top, and absolutely do not let your suitcase become a weapon. America made stairs move by themselves, then forced everyone to pretend that was normal. Fact 29. The photocopier did not just change offices, it gave paperwork the ability to multiply like rabbits in a file cabinet. Chester Carlson invented xerography in the United States after years of experimenting with static electricity and powder, which sounds like science mixed with a messy craft project. When Xerox machines became common in offices during the mid-20th century, everything changed. Documents no longer had to be typed again, copied by carbon paper, or guarded like sacred scrolls. Memos, forms, contracts, school handouts, church bulletins, flyers, and office jokes could be reproduced instantly. This was progress, but also a curse. Once copying became easy, bureaucracy discovered it could become infinite. America invented a machine that saved time, then used the saved time to create more paperwork. The copier is convenience wearing a necktie. Fact 30. The personal computer may be the least ridiculous-looking invention here, but its everyday impact was pure domestic chaos. In the 1970s and 80s, American companies and hobbyists helped drag computing out of laboratories and into homes, offices, schools, and eventually bedrooms covered in shag carpet. At first, owning a computer seemed strange, expensive, and slightly nerdy, like buying a calculator that demanded its own furniture. Then word processing, spreadsheets, games, email, and desktop publishing changed everything. Families suddenly had a glowing box that could store recipes, print birthday banners, balance checkbooks, and crash moments before homework was saved. Offices were transformed forever because mistakes could be edited without retyping entire pages. America put a computer on the family desk, and daily life slowly moved inside it, one floppy disk disaster at a time. Fact 31. The disposable razor changed morning routines by turning shaving from a careful bathroom ritual into something people could do half awake before work. King Camp Gillette had already made safety razors famous, but later American disposable designs pushed convenience even further. No sharpening, no leather strop, no dramatic old-time barber energy, just a cheap plastic handle, a blade, and the quiet hope you would not leave the house looking like you fought a mailbox. It changed travel, bathrooms, military kits, hotel stays, and drugstore aisles forever. Shaving became faster, cleaner, and more ordinary, but also easier to waste. America looked at a sharp object pressed against human skin and said, "Let's make it casual, colorful, and sold in packs of 12. Progress has never looked so disposable. Fact 32. The air conditioner did not just cool rooms, it rearranged American life. Willis Carrier developed modern air conditioning in the early 1900s, originally to control humidity for printing, not to rescue sweaty families in July. But once cooling spread into offices, theaters, cars, malls, and homes, the country changed. Summer movie-going became a tradition because theaters were deliciously cold. Sunbelt cities grew because people could survive indoors without melting into their furniture. Office workers stopped dressing like they were preparing for a desert expedition. Shopping malls became climate-controlled temples where teenagers could wander for hours without buying anything except pretzels. Of course, air conditioning also created the classic American argument. One person freezing under a blanket while another insists the room is still a little warm. America invented indoor weather, then immediately fought over the thermostat. Fact 33. The clothes dryer changed laundry by removing one of nature's most annoying requirements: cooperation. Before dryers became common, clean clothes depended on sunshine, wind, space, and the neighborhood not staring at your underwear flapping like surrender flags. Electric and gas dryers became household staples after mid-century, especially as suburban homes filled with appliances promising freedom from chores. Suddenly, laundry no longer waited for weather. Sheets, socks, work shirts, towels, and baby clothes could tumble in a warm metal drum, while families watched television and pretended folding would happen soon. The dryer also invented an entire domestic mystery: where socks go to die. Every household knows the pain of opening the door and finding one lonely sock spinning without its partner. America conquered rain, clotheslines, and outdoor judgment, only to be defeated by static cling. Fact 34. The automatic sliding door made Americans feel like they lived in the future, even when they were just entering a grocery store to buy bananas. The modern automatic door was developed in the mid-20th century, and it quickly became perfect for supermarkets, hospitals, airports, hotels, and department stores. Before that, people actually had to open doors while carrying bags, pushing strollers, or pretending they were not struggling with a cart full of canned goods. Sliding doors solved a real problem, but they also added drama. Walk up, and the building magically welcomes you like a polite robot butler. Stand too far away, and suddenly you are negotiating with invisible technology. America turned entering a store into a tiny science fiction moment, then placed it next to discount produce and lottery tickets. Fact 35. The vending machine existed in earlier forms, but America transformed it into a full-blown snack economy. By the 20th century, machines selling gum, soda, candy, coffee, sandwiches, and cigarettes appeared in offices, schools, factories, motels, bus stations, and bowling alleys. They changed everyday life because food no longer required a person, a counter, or even eye contact, just coins, buttons, and faith. The vending machine is basically capitalism in a metal cabinet. Take money, drop chips, show no emotion. It also created a very specific public rage when the candy bar got stuck behind the glass, hanging there like a hostage. People shook machines, pleaded with them, and made terrible decisions over 75 cents. America automated the snack break, then discovered humans will threaten heavy machinery for a bag of peanut butter crackers. Fact 36. The electric garage refrigerator is not one official invention, but it became a deeply American use of invention: the second fridge. Once home refrigeration became affordable, families eventually pushed old refrigerators into garages and basements, creating cold storage for soda, leftovers, holiday overflow, fishing bait, birthday cakes, and mystery containers from 3 administrations ago. This changed everyday life in a weirdly practical way. The kitchen fridge stayed respectable, while the garage fridge became a lawless frontier of barbecue sauce, freezer-burned meat, and emergency popsicles. During holidays, it became a tactical command center. During summer, it became a hydration station for dads in cargo shorts. No appliance better captures American abundance than keeping an older refrigerator alive after retirement, because it can still guard root beer. America invented retirement, then denied it to refrigerators. Fact 37. The electric can opener solved a problem that was not exactly impossible, but America looked at manual can opening and said, "Still too much risk." By the 1950s and 60s, countertop electric can openers became common in kitchens, promising smooth lids, effortless tuna, and futuristic convenience. They were especially helpful for people with arthritis or limited hand strength, which made them genuinely useful. But they also became a symbol of appliance-happy America, where every kitchen task apparently deserved its own motor. The device turned soup, beans, dog food, and canned peaches into push-button events. It also created a familiar sound, grinding metal while someone waited impatiently with a saucepan already on the stove. America mechanized the humble can, proving that even dinner from a tin deserved a power tool. Fact 38. The smartphone was not born from one single American invention, but American companies helped turn the phone into the remote control for modern existence. Once touchscreens, mobile internet, app stores, GPS, cameras, and pocket computing converged, everyday life folded into a rectangle. Phones stopped being for calls and became maps, flashlights, wallets, cameras, calendars, jukeboxes, boarding passes, newspapers, alarm clocks, and tiny argument machines. People who once memorized phone numbers now panic if their battery hits 12%. Restaurants changed menus. Families changed photo albums. Road trips changed forever because nobody had to unfold a giant paper map while pretending the crease made sense. The smartphone made life easier, faster, and more distracted. America helped build a device that connects everyone instantly, then watched us use it to ignore people sitting directly across the table. Fact 39. The Band-Aid began because an American cotton buyer named Earl Dixon kept watching his wife, Josephine, cut herself while cooking. Instead of offering the classic husband solution of saying, "Be careful," and continuing to be useless, he attached gauze to adhesive tape so she could bandage herself quickly. Johnson & Johnson turned the idea into a product in the 1920s, and the home medicine cabinet was never the same. Before that, small cuts meant scissors, gauze, tape, and the dexterity of a battlefield nurse. Band-Aids made minor injuries feel manageable, especially for kids who believed one tiny strip could heal both blood and emotional betrayal. America invented a sticky little rectangle that turned kitchen accidents, scraped knees, and playground disasters into official medical events. Fact 40. Paper towels were born from a hygiene problem so ordinary it sounds fake. People sharing cloth towels and spreading germs. In the early 1900s, Scott Paper Company helped popularize disposable paper towels, originally selling them for public restrooms and schools. The idea was simple: use it once, toss it away, and stop treating one damp towel like a community handshake. Then Americans invited paper towels into kitchens, garages, diners, gas stations, and every spill-based emergency. Suddenly, cleaning did not require laundering a rag that had already lived too many lives. Paper towels changed cooking, parenting, car care, and panic management. Drop coffee, paper towel. Dog made a choice? Paper towel? Thanksgiving gravy earthquake? Whole roll gone. America invented disposable cleanliness, then taught families to yell, "Don't use the good towels." Fact 41. Duct tape became famous because America needed a tape tough enough for war. Then civilians discovered it could hold the universe together emotionally. During World War II, a strong waterproof cloth tape was developed to seal ammunition cases, and soldiers loved it because it stuck, tore by hand, and survived abuse. After the war, it migrated into hardware stores and homes, where it became the unofficial national repair policy. Broken chair, duct tape; cracked hose, duct tape; car mirror hanging like a sad ear, duct tape. It did not always fix things correctly, but it fixed them confidently, which is sometimes enough until payday. Duct tape changed everyday life because it gave ordinary people the illusion of engineering skill. America invented a gray miracle strip that says, "This is temporary," right before lasting 7 years. Fact 42. Scotch tape began when 3M employee Richard Drew created a transparent adhesive tape in the 1920s, originally to help auto painters make clean color lines. Then the Great Depression arrived, and Americans realized clear tape was perfect for repairing things they could not afford to replace. Torn book pages, cracked photographs, ripped letters, broken packaging, Christmas wrapping disasters, school projects, office labels, and suspiciously reassembled documents all found salvation in that little roll. It changed desks, classrooms, kitchens, and holiday gift wrapping forever. The dispenser alone became an office icon, heavy enough to feel like equipment and sharp enough to attack fingers. Scotch tape made small repairs invisible-ish, which was good enough for most people. America invented a transparent fix for life's tiny failures and placed it beside every pair of scissors that somehow vanished. Fact 43. The Pop-Top Con changed American drinking by eliminating the need for a church key opener, which sounds charming until you remember people just wanted soda without hardware. In 1959, Ermal Fraze invented the pull tab after forgetting an opener on a picnic and having to improvise. His idea eventually led to easier opening beverage cans, and later, safer stay tabs that remained attached instead of becoming sharp little metal landmines in parks and parking lots. The impact was huge. Beer, soda, canned juices, tailgates, lunch breaks, road trips, and vending machines all became easier. The Pop-Top turned opening a drink into one quick snap, a tiny sound of American leisure. It also created the sacred ritual of someone saying, "Ah," after opening a can like they just discovered civilization. America mechanized refreshment one fingertip at a time. Fact 44. GPS began as a United States military navigation system, which makes it hilarious that its most common modern use is helping people find the nearest taco place. Developed through satellites and defense technology, GPS eventually moved into civilian life and changed everything. Road trips, trucking, farming, delivery, emergency response, hiking, dating apps, and parents tracking teenagers with the calm intensity of federal agencies. Before GPS, families unfolded paper maps in cars, argued at gas stations, missed exits, and used phrases like, "I think north is that way." Now, a calm digital voice tells drivers what to do, and they still miss the turn because they were arguing about whether the voice sounded judgmental. GPS changed everyday life by making location constant and confusion optional. America put navigation in space, then used it to avoid asking strangers for directions. Fact 45. WD-40 is the rare invention with a name that sounds like warehouse paperwork but lives like folk magic. Developed in San Diego in the 1950s, the formula was created by the Rocket Chemical Company to prevent corrosion and displace water. The 40 came from the 40th attempt, meaning 39 earlier versions failed before America received its blue and yellow can of mechanical hope. At first, it served aerospace needs, but soon households discovered it could quiet squeaky hinges, loosen stuck bolts, protect tools, free zippers, and make garage owners feel like licensed problem solvers. Every American workbench seemed to adopt one can, usually next to duct tape, forming the two-party system of lazy repairs. WD-40 changed everyday life by giving people a sprayable answer to problems they only half understood. Fact 46. The zipper storage bag changed kitchens by making leftovers feel organized, even when the refrigerator looked like a crime scene. Introduced by Dow under the Ziploc name in the 1960s, the little plastic bag gave Americans a resealable pocket for sandwiches, snacks, screws, coupons, crayons, travel toiletries, and mysterious cables nobody can identify, but everyone is afraid to throw away. Before that, saving food often meant wax paper, foil, rubber bands, or bowls covered with plastic wrap that surrendered instantly. The zipper seal made storage feel modern, tidy, and oddly satisfying. Parents packed lunches faster, campers protected matches, freezers became archives of soup from forgotten winters. America invented a tiny plastic envelope that says, "I have control," while quietly hiding half an onion and 3 emotional support cookies. Fact 47. The automatic drip coffee maker changed American mornings by replacing patience with a gurgling plastic altar. Before it became common, making coffee often meant percolators, stovetop methods, or office brews strong enough to remove paint. Then machines like Mr. Coffee arrived in the 1970s, bringing push-button coffee into ordinary kitchens. Suddenly, tired people could dump in grounds, add water, press a switch, and let electricity handle their personality reboot. It changed breakfast tables, offices, motels, church basements, and every conversation that begins with, "Don't talk to me yet." The machine also created the sacred burnt office pot, sitting there for hours like liquid punishment. America did not invent needing caffeine, but it perfected making it automatic, affordable, and slightly bitter enough to match the morning news. Fact 48. The Velcro fastener was invented by a Swiss engineer, but America helped turn it into an everyday miracle of lazy closure. NASA used it, children loved it, and shoe companies realized millions of parents were tired of kneeling in hallways tying laces for tiny dictators. By the late 20th century, Velcro appeared on sneakers, jackets, wallets, medical braces, backpacks, military gear, and anything that needed closing without buttons, knots, or dignity. Its sound became unmistakable, that ripping noise announcing someone was opening a wallet, adjusting a brace, or escaping a child's shoe crisis. It changed everyday life by making fastening fast, reusable, and forgiving. America embraced Velcro because it solved one of civilization's quiet problems. Sometimes humans want things attached, but not enough to learn a knot. Fact 49. The electric slow cooker, especially the crock pot, changed dinner by allowing Americans to cook while not being emotionally present. Popularized in the 1970s, it promised working families a near magical deal. Toss ingredients into a ceramic pot in the morning and return hours later to something that smelled like effort. It transformed pot roasts, chili, soups, church suppers, tailgates, and suburban kitchens where convenience had become a survival strategy. Unlike the microwave, which screamed speed, the slow cooker whispered, "I planned ahead," even if the plan was mostly dumping canned soup over meat. It made cheap cuts tender, kept food warm for gatherings, and gave busy parents a rare victory over dinner-time chaos. America invented a countertop appliance that made procrastination look like patience and leftovers taste like strategy. Fact 50. The ring pull keychain loyalty card is not glamorous, but it quietly changed shopping by turning every American keyring into a tiny plastic filing cabinet. Supermarkets, pharmacies, gas stations, gyms, and pet stores all decided customers needed miniature cards for discounts, points, coupons, and the thrilling chance to save 18 cents on cereal. Before digital accounts took over, wallets bulged and keychains jingled like janitor equipment. The invention was simple: shrink the membership card, punch a hole in it, and attach consumer identity to house keys. It changed how stores tracked habits and how shoppers chased deals. Suddenly, buying toothpaste required proving allegiance to a pharmacy empire. America turned customer loyalty into barcode jewelry, then trained adults to panic when a cashier asked, "Do you have your card?" Fact 51. The Swiffer changed cleaning by asking a brutally honest question. What if mopping did not require a bucket, ringing, or looking like a sad sailor? Introduced by Procter & Gamble in the late 1990s, it used disposable cloths that grabbed dust, crumbs, pet hair, and the evidence of daily living. Traditional mops were not gone, but suddenly many Americans had a lightweight stick that made floors feel manageable between serious cleanings. It changed apartments, dorms, kitchens, bathrooms, and homes with pets shedding enough fur to assemble a second animal. The genius was convenience. Clean quickly, toss the pad, pretend the house is under control. America turned floor cleaning into a cartridge system, because apparently even dust needed a subscription-style business model wearing a cheerful green handle. Fact 52. The Roomba changed housework by giving Americans a tiny robot roommate whose only job is bumping into chair legs with confidence. Released by iRobot in the early 2000s, the robotic vacuum brought automation into ordinary living rooms long before most homes felt futuristic. It did not clean perfectly, especially around cords, socks, and pet bowls, but it changed expectations. Floors could now be maintained while people worked, slept, or watched television pretending they were being productive. Pets either feared it, attacked it, or wrote it into internet history. The Roomba made cleaning feel less like a chore and more like supervising a stubborn electronic beetle. America did not get the robot butler science fiction promised, but it did get a round little machine willing to eat crumbs under the couch. Fact 53. The digital thermostat changed home comfort by taking the old wall dial and giving it opinions. Earlier, thermostats controlled heating and cooling, but programmable and later smart versions changed how Americans managed indoor life. Suddenly, homes could warm up before morning, cool down before arrival, and judge energy use with the quiet superiority of a tiny screen. The thermostat became a household battleground with scheduling, locked settings, mysterious modes, and one person always insisting the number is wrong. Smart thermostats learned patterns, connected to phones, and let people adjust temperatures from bed, vacation, or the couch they refused to leave. It saved energy for many homes, but also upgraded the thermostat war from manual combat to remote warfare. America invented indoor weather control, then gave everyone an app to argue about it. Fact 54. The electric clothes iron existed before America turned it into a household expectation, but American companies helped make it normal, portable, and unavoidable. Before electric irons became common, people heated heavy metal irons on stoves, which made wrinkle removal feel like blacksmithing with laundry. Electric models changed everything. Shirts, dresses, curtains, uniforms, and Sunday clothes could be pressed without juggling hot metal like a frontier punishment. It made neatness more achievable. especially in offices and schools where looking wrinkled quietly suggested moral collapse. Of course, the iron also created a new domestic fear, leaving the house, driving 10 minutes, and suddenly wondering if the living room is becoming a campfire. America improved clothing, appearances, and workplace respectability with one hot triangle that still manages to terrify responsible adults. Fact 55. The ice cube trade changed American drinks by making cold feel homemade. Before affordable refrigerators and freezer trays, ice was delivered in blocks, stored carefully, and treated like a luxury guest. Then, simple metal and later plastic trays let families freeze water into neat little cubes whenever they wanted. Suddenly, iced tea, lemonade, cocktails, soda, and backyard cookout drinks became part of ordinary life, not just a hotel or soda fountain privilege. The tray also created a household crime scene, one empty slot left behind by someone too lazy to refill it. Every family has known that betrayal. It changed kitchens, picnics, parties, and summer afternoons because cold drinks became automatic. America took frozen water, divided it into squares, and somehow made hospitality depend on whether Dad remembered to refill the tray. Fact 56. The ballpoint retractable click pen changed writing by adding a tiny nervous habit to American life. Earlier pens wrote just fine, but the retractable mechanism meant no lost cap, no ink stains in pockets, and no emergency search under school desks. Push the button, write. Push again, safe. It spread through offices, banks, classrooms, hotels, and every reception desk where pens were chained down like dangerous prisoners. But the real cultural impact was the click. Meetings, phone calls, homework sessions, and church bulletins suddenly had a soundtrack produced by bored hands. The pen became both tool and fidget device before anyone called it that. America took a practical writing instrument and gave it a button people could abuse until everyone nearby considered violence. Civilization advanced, but quietly wished the pen had stayed silent. Fact 57. The electric hairdryer transformed bathrooms into tiny wind tunnels. Before handheld dryers became common, drying hair meant towels, time, salon equipment, or sitting under a giant hooded machine that made people look like they were receiving messages from space. Portable electric dryers gave Americans speed, control, and the power to create hairstyles that could survive school dances, office jobs, and entire episodes of classic television. They changed morning routines, beauty salons, travel bags, and teenage bedrooms filled with hairspray fog. The invention was especially important when big hair became a national architectural movement. Of course, it also added a new sound to family life, someone blasting hot air through a closed bathroom door while everyone else waited for the shower. America invented personal weather, pointed it at hair, and called it grooming. Fact 58. The lawn sprinkler changed suburbs by turning grass into a scheduled performance. Once connected to hoses and later automatic systems, sprinklers let homeowners water lawns evenly without standing outside like tired human rain clouds. That sounds practical, but in America, the lawn is never just grass. It is status, discipline, curb appeal, and sometimes a passive-aggressive message to neighbors. Sprinklers helped create the green suburban carpet seen in post-war neighborhoods, golf course dreams, and Sunday morning yard routines. Kids ran through them in summer, like they had discovered free amusement parks. Adults adjusted them obsessively, trying not to water the driveway with the dedication of a man calibrating a moon landing. America invented a machine to imitate rain, then aimed half of it at sidewalks because perfection is apparently difficult. Fact 59. The home security alarm changed ordinary houses by giving fear a keypad. Early alarm systems existed for businesses, but American residential versions spread as suburbs grew and electronics became cheaper. Suddenly, front doors, windows, garages, and basements could be wired like small museums guarding priceless artifacts, even when the most valuable thing inside was a television cabinet and a suspiciously large collection of casserole dishes. Alarms changed how people left home, went to bed, hired babysitters, and reacted to mysterious beeping. They brought peace of mind, but also new panic, forgetting the code, setting it off at midnight, and waving at neighbors while pretending everything is normal. America took the simple act of locking a door and upgraded it into a dramatic countdown sequence. Home became safer, louder, and slightly more theatrical. Fact 60. The electric shopping mall fountain is not one invention, but it became an American lifestyle machine. Water, lights, coins, benches, and nowhere important to be. By the 70s and 80s, malls used indoor fountains as gathering places, landmarks, and emotional decoration for climate-controlled consumer paradise. Families met there, teenagers loitered there, grandparents rested there, children begged to throw pennies into water that somehow made buying shoes feel magical. The fountain changed everyday mall culture because it gave wandering shoppers a center of gravity, a place to pause between department stores, food courts, arcades, and orange plastic trays of pizza. It was pointless, expensive, and strangely beloved. America built indoor public squares inside shopping centers, then filled them with chlorinated water and loose change. Honestly, that might be the most mall thing ever invented. Fact 61. The trash compactor was the American dream compressed into one loud kitchen cabinet. Take garbage, crush it smaller, and pretend the problem has vanished. Popular in mid-century and later upscale kitchens, compactors promised fewer trips to the curb and more control over the weekly mountain of packaging, cans, boxes, and leftovers nobody wanted to identify. It sounded brilliant, especially in homes where trash bags filled faster than the family station wagon. But the machine also revealed a truth about modern life. Americans were not producing less waste, just giving it a hydraulic bear hug. The compactor changed kitchens, apartment buildings, restaurants, and household routines by making garbage feel engineered. America looked at a full trash bag and invented a machine that says, "Relax, we can make this worse more efficiently." Fact 62. The electric carving knife made holiday dinners feel like a tiny surgical procedure performed on a turkey. Introduced into American homes during the appliance-crazy mid-20th century, it promised clean slices with less effort, especially for roasts, hams, and Thanksgiving birds that had already survived hours of family tension. Before that, carving required a sharp knife, skill, and one relative pretending to know what they were doing. The electric version buzzed through meat with dramatic confidence, turning Dad into a dinner-table lumberjack in a cardigan. It changed holiday meals, buffet lines, delis, and kitchens where presentation mattered almost as much as gravy. Of course, it also added danger and theater to the table. America saw a knife and thought, nice. But could it vibrate near Uncle Larry's fingers? Fact 63. The electric bug zapper turned pest control into backyard entertainment, which says a lot about American summer culture. Developed in the 20th century, it used ultraviolet light to attract flying insects, then delivered a loud electric snap that made patios feel like tiny science fiction battlefields. Before screens, sprays, candles, and zappers became standard, mosquitoes simply treated humans like open buffets. The bug zapper changed porches, cookouts, campgrounds, diners, and suburban evenings by promising visible revenge against anything with wings and bad manners. People did not just use it, they listened to it. Every zap felt like justice with a spark. Was it always the perfect solution? No. Did Americans enjoy hearing bugs meet electricity during barbecue season? Absolutely. America invented a glowing insect trap and accidentally created the official soundtrack of humid July evenings. Fact 64. The automatic pencil sharpener changed classrooms and offices by giving wooden pencils a mechanical execution chamber. Before electric sharpeners became common, sharpening meant hand-cranked devices bolted to walls, tiny pocket sharpeners full of shavings, or teachers guarding the sharpener like a sacred machine. The electric version promised speed, precision, and the thrilling sound of a pencil being eaten alive. It changed schools, drafting rooms, art tables, offices, and homes where homework already needed every possible delay removed. Students loved it because walking to the sharpener was technically movement and therefore a break. Teachers hated it because one child could sharpen the same pencil down to a toothpick while claiming academic necessity. America mechanized pointiness, turning a simple classroom chore into a loud, buzzing ceremony that announced, "Learning is happening, probably." Fact 65. The automatic soap dispenser changed hand-washing by deciding even touching the soap pump was apparently too intimate. First common in public restrooms, airports, hospitals, and restaurants, motion-sensing dispensers spread because they reduced contact and made hygiene feel futuristic. You waved your hand underneath, waited for the machine to notice your existence, and received either one sad drop or enough foam to wash a golden retriever. It changed bathrooms, kitchens, offices, schools, and travel stops by making cleanliness less dependent on handles touched by everyone before you. But it also created a new public humiliation, standing at a sink, waving politely at a plastic box that refuses to acknowledge you. America automated soap, proving even hand washing could become a negotiation with a tiny, indifferent robot mounted above the counter. Fact 66. The automatic pet feeder changed everyday life by letting Americans outsource guilt to a plastic machine. Pet owners who worked long hours, traveled, or simply slept past breakfast could load kibble, set a timer, and let technology handle the judgmental stare of a hungry cat. Earlier, feeding meant bowls, schedules, neighbors, or animals dramatically acting like they had never eaten in their lives. Automatic feeders changed apartments, kitchens, vacations, and morning routines by making pet care more predictable. They also introduced a strange new household boss, the machine that decides dinner. Pets learned the sound, circled it like worshippers, and sometimes tried to rob it with paws, teeth, and criminal determination. America invented a gadget that feeds animals on schedule, while humans still forget lunch and call it productivity. And that's how America turned convenience into a national personality trait. Where are you watching from, and which invention secretly runs your daily life?